feeling you? No. That nigga a munch. Nigga eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, you thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Nigga eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want.
Boop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We have Vegito versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I don't know who's gonna win this. I don't really know too much about Dragon Ball's power scaling shit. So, should I look at the comments? Should I not look at the comments? I'm not finna look at the comments. 13, almost 14-minute video coming your way. Okay.
For Goku has always been a nuanced debate for a multitude of reasons, most notably because Dragon Ball fans can't universally agree on how to power scale GT. Some fans think GT scales far below Dragon Ball Super, others believe it scales far beyond Super due to GT technically taking place many years after Super, and there are even some fans who think GT doesn't even scale to Z standards, and has Z Broly soloing everybody. Regardless of your opinion, Vegito vs Super Saiyan 4 Goku is a bit of an odd debate, but gained popularity once more fans started to acknowledge the GT Perfect File scan, which allegedly states that perhaps Vegito is even stronger than a Super Saiyan 4. So we're going to put an end to this debate by comparing Buu Saga Vegito's power with Baby Arc Super Saiyan 4 Goku's power, going all over the necessary feats for each character.
I got Vegito. Vegito, Dorito, Cheerio. You know?
And extensively explaining the GT Perfect File scan that gets heavily.
I tried to think of the thing, but I got Cheerio, Dorito, Oreos, Vegito in 5. Yeah.
Misconstrued by
Cold
fans.
like that.
So without further ado, let's get into the video, starting off with Vegito. When it comes to scaling Buu Saga Vegito, you can do it in one of two ways. You can rely on the manga scaling or the Dragon Ball Z anime scaling. To be as fair as possible, we'll use the anime Z scaling, as not only is it canon to the GT anime, but Vegito's feats are just far better than they were in the manga. So yes, we'll be using the anime version of this because it makes sense for the GT matchup. So compared to other videos, this is different. As we know, Vegito is the perfect fusion of Goku and Vegeta, which wasn't planned from the start and was actually a last-minute decision made by Goku after Gohan was absorbed by Buu. Due to Gohan quite literally fumbling the Patora earring, Goku can't possibly fight Buuhan himself, as even though Gotenks defused inside of Buu, which should make him weaker, the power gap between Buuhan and Goku.
Oh yeah. Didn't we clock that?
Is too massive. In fact, the gap is so massive that prior to Vegeta returning to Earth, Goku was seriously considering a fusion between him and Dende, or him and Hercule, but quickly realized it would be incredibly weak. Vegeta would come to Earth, and after a bit of convincing and a lot of apologizing, Vegeta would eventually give in and decide to fuse with Goku, and thus Vegeta would be born. The differences begin from the moment
this egotistical son of a bitch. Love him though.
Vegito appears, as in the manga he goes straight to Super Saiyan and begins to clobber Buuhan. But whereas in the anime, Vegito fights Buu in base, it seems as if the fight is even, though Buuhan is a bit stronger. Vegito just shrugs off hits from Buuhan and says he's just getting used to having a new body. As the battle progresses, Vegito begins to overpower Buuhan in base, and if not for his regeneration, would have been defeated many times over already. The only point in time where Vegito actually struggles is when Buuhan throws an attack at Vegito, which was comprised of all the energy he's absorbed from the planets he's destroyed, which is incredibly significant as Buu has been around since time itself. After a bit of struggling, Vegito increases his power even more and kicks this attack right back at Buuhan. He then decides to stop playing around and finally transform.
Fuck how old this nigga is, because I just finished the show in like, I don't even remember, bro. Probably like February. Then I recently. Oh no, it is recently. I think I finished Super in like May. So yeah. Got me a little looby.
transforms into a Super Saiyan, calling himself Super Vegito. There's a lot of back and forth over whether or not Vegito needed Super Saiyan to defeat Buhan, or if he just powered up to flex. I'd actually argue that Vegito could have beaten Buhan in base, but it wouldn't be a total stomp on Vegito's side, as he would still have to try a decent amount to put down Buhan, especially due to his regeneration, if he's just relying on base power. Though I don't mean to downplay base Vegito in any way, shape or form, as it's stated that base Vegito has even greater power than that of a Super Saiyan 3. There's also the Torah multiplier, which, at least prior to the retcon, was stated to be an A times B multiplier in the 2009 Super Exciting Guide, or simply put, Goku's power multiplied with Vegeta's power. Taking the Daizenshu statement into consideration, this means that at the absolutist of all low balls, base Vegito is 400 times stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
400
the boost is
times.
likely far higher than just that of 400 times, though, as both Goku and Vegeta at their strongest could do nothing to Buhan, but are able to become stronger than him as base Vegito. Which leads to some fans to believe that the earrings combined the power of the two fusees at their absolute strongest before multiplying their power tens of times over. Or simply put, the power of Super Saiyan 3 Goku added with the power of Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and multiplied by an unknown number. From here though, Vegito cranks up the heat and becomes a Super Saiyan and proceeds to destroy Buhan even harder than he did in base. No matter what technique or tactic Buhan tries, Super Vegito is able to absolutely curb stomp him. Not even turning Vegito into a jawbreaker is able to put him down, as he retains his power and speed, and just beats up Buhan even more badly than before. Buhan then performs the outside space feed, as I've talked about many times on this channel, but I'll quickly go over it, which involves using an attack that causes the space surrounding Buu to warp, which would in turn cause the walls between dimensions to break down, leading to other dimensions rushing through. Vegito himself states that if he didn't stop this attack, then the universe itself will be crushed by alternate dimensions. Vegito then proceeds to attack Buu and has to exert even more power than he has before as a Super Saiyan to get through Buhan's barrier and attack him, stopping the attack once and for all. Super Vegito being able to overpower Buhan.
Why did is that from the thing or is that from you? Oh, no. Wait a minute. So, I'm so confused now. What's up, Hunt's Play? I'm just so confused because if I can hear it, like when someone follows me, why wasn't I able to hear the last two times somebody did? I don't know. You know, I'm genuinely puzzled and confused right now. Like genuinely. Like now I'm like super confused. Whatever though. Hope your Tuesday is going great. I see we have a bunch of people in here. Like I said, hope your day is going great. We're looking at Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I'm not gonna lie, I already said it before. I'll say it again because you guys are here. I got a banger, but warning. The star is Dog Rest is amazing. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me put a pause on this. You know, when you send it, I'll see it right here in the chat. I'll first see it on my. Just redux.
A being that generated it.
Oh wait. I don't have my thing still linked, do I? Let me see. I don't think I have it still linked, right? Nope, I don't. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't have the wrong thing linked.
Enough power to destroy the universe and the living world could be scaled from multi-galaxy, which would be the lowest of low balls, to universal, depending on how you interpret the cosmology of Dragon Ball. Buhan never displays this level of power again, as he was temporarily enraged, and even if he did, Vegito would still be stronger than him as a Super Saiyan, and Vegito hasn't even used Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3, since using either of these forms would be overkill. Eventually, Vegito gives Buhan 10 seconds to make his next move, before he destroys him for good, which pressures Buhan into absorbing Vegito just like he planned. It's a success, and before Vegito can make his next move, he defuses inside of Buhan due to the strange atmosphere, which puts an end to the perfect fighter, at least in Z. As we know, Vegito returns in Dragon Ball Super. So, Super Vegito should scale to universal levels of power. It has a multitude of hacks, most notably transmutation hacks, as he's able to retain his power and consciousness when he gets transmutated into candy. He's also cracked in terms of battle IQ. He's the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, two prodigies with a mastery level of martial arts and decades of combat experience. All the flaws of Goku and Vegeta are merged together and perfected, hence why Vegito is the perfect fighter, with an absurd amount of potential. But is all of this enough to defeat Super Saiyan 4 Goku? And to explain Super Saiyan 4 Goku, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of GT, so stick around. GT takes place 5 years after the end of Z, with the latter taking place 10 years after the Buu Saga, which means that GT Goku had over 15 years to get stronger. Though some fans attempt to downplay GT Goku by mentioning he's not as strong as he used to be because of the wish made by Pilaf to turn him into a kid again. But this is actually false. As it's stated in the GT Perfect files that Goku with a child's body is just as strong as he was in his adult body, with the only downside being a lack of stamina, and because of that he doesn't have the necessary energy output to pull off instant transmission. Instant transmission involves locking in on a person's ki and transporting over to it. And if that person is very far away from Goku, then logically it takes up a lot more ki, which wouldn't be a problem for Goku if he weren't a child. Though before he gets turned into a child, it's made clear that base GT Goku is equal to Oob, who should have surpassed Kid Buu, now based off end of Z Goku scaling. But if you don't believe the beginning of GT Goku has surpassed Kid Buu, it's fine, as there's more definitive proof later on. GT Goku would fight against General Rildo during the Black Star Dragon Ball saga, and states that General Rildo's power is even greater than that of Buu's. It doesn't specify which version of Buu it would be, but it boils down to either Kid Buu or Buuhan. It wouldn't be Fat Buu, as Goku already made it clear that he could have beaten him as a Super Saiyan 3. And it couldn't be Super Buu because Ultimate Gohan slapped him. Kid Buu and Buuhan were the only memorable threats in the eyes of Goku, and depending on which one you pick, it could scale GT Goku to a higher degree than usual. The general consensus is that GT Goku was talking about Kid Buu, which is very significant because GT Goku goes on to slap General Rildo in base, who only goes to get stronger, which leads to Goku having to use Super Saiyan to deal with him. This means that GT Goku in base is comfortably above Kid Buu, with that same Kid Buu being relative to Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Buu Saga. Mind you, this is just base GT Goku, who goes on to get much stronger as the story progresses. Specifically during the Baby Saga. Baby is a Tuffle who wants revenge on the Saiyans and has the power to absorb others and actually control people from within. He cycles through multiple hosts and eventually decides that Vegeta, the son of the man who destroyed his race, would be the perfect fit, leading to the creation of a Tuffleized Super Saiyan. Baby gets to show off his power against GT Goku, who knows from the get-go that Baby is a serious opponent. He powers all the way up to Super Saiyan 3, which does perform decently against Baby, but it doesn't last due to Goku's lack of stamina. Keep in mind that Baby is currently in his own version of Super Saiyan, which is weaker than Super Saiyan 3 by 8 times, and yet Baby hasn't even begun to try. He states that he has even more power to show Goku and transforms into his strongest form 1, in quote, his equivalent to going Super Saiyan 2. Baby states that he has now achieved the greatest Saiyan power, which not only does Goku agree with, but backs the statement by saying he's never felt ki as awesome as this, which would mean that Baby would actually be stronger than even Super Vegito. To explain, we know that Baby has the memories of those he absorbs and controls, as shown with Goten. This should mean that Baby should have all of Vegeta's memories, which would include his memories of being Vegito. Goku also agrees with Baby's statement, and we know that Vegito is a fusion of Goku and Vegeta, which logically means that Goku would also remember the power and experience of Vegito. Shenanigans happen, which involves Goku getting his tail pulled and to increase his power. Though Baby isn't fazed in the slightest by Goku's new growth, Goku ends up looking at the moon and transforms into a golden great ape, which doesn't even have an official multiplier. All we know is that the form is nothing more than a great ape evolved into a Super Saiyan state. Pan helps Goku regain his senses, leading to the birth of Super Saiyan 4, the ultimate Saiyan form, with insane amounts of power. Super Saiyan 4 Goku is able to use a smidgen of his power to decimate Baby, or roughly 3%, which is absolutely insane. This leads to Baby retreating and using Bulma's Blutzwave's machine to transform into a golden great ape, but at this point he's only equal to Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Although, Elder Kai states that Goku has the edge in speed, but Baby has the edge in power. Though this claim is questionable, as Super Saiyan 4 Goku is able to overpower Baby in strength, with Baby also getting hits on Goku, which leads to the two of them knocking each other out. So it's more than likely that the two are equal, but later on, Goku achieves an even greater power than Super Saiyan 4. After getting the combined ki from Super Saiyan Goten, Super Saiyan Gohan, Pan, and Super Saiyan Trunks, Goku achieves Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4. Yet again, there's no official multiplier for this form, but we can say for sure that at bare minimum, it is stronger than a times 10 increase. This is because Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not only able to do better against Baby than regular Super Saiyan 4 Goku did with the 10 times Kameha technique, but he's able to defeat Golden Great Ape Baby. So if you were to lowball the form's power, it's much more than times 10. We also learn that Marjube lets himself get turned into a chocolate and gets eaten by Baby in order to get the chance to defeat him from the inside. But this does not mean that Marjube was already stronger than Baby, as why would he need to resort to something so risky when he had already had a chance to defeat Baby? Marjube knew he was inferior and resorted to the last minute tactic of getting eaten in order to secure the victory. Goku even says at the end of the Baby saga that he'll train Marjube, meaning that he still has some growth to accomplish. So it's pretty clear that Super Saiyan 4 Goku is stronger than Vegito, at least the Vegito that's been shown from the Buu saga. Baby had already surpassed Super Vegito by the time he became a Super Saiyan 2, but went on to gain a form that was equivalent of going Super Saiyan 3, and yet couldn't even stand up against Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who also grew even stronger.
Why does this always happen?
To defeat Golden Great Ape.
There we go.
Baby. The only way you could somehow argue that Super Vegito is stronger than Baby is the GT Perfect Files statement that alludes to this, but as I previously stated, it's heavily misinterpreted. If you read closely, it says perhaps, which is a word used to express uncertainty. Even then, fans have misinterpreted the true intention of this statement, as it's not even talking about Vegito, but actually referring to the possibility of Batora as a multiplier being possibly stronger than Super Saiyan 4. Or simply put, the power growth of fusing into Vegito might be as strong as going Super Saiyan 4. Either way, Super Saiyan 4 Goku would curb stomp Super Vegito, and it's not even close. GT being the continuation of Dragon Ball Z should have made this matchup clear, as it's been years since the Buu saga.
Underwood. 4 hours. Yikes. Understandable. Well, I took the loss on that. But now, you know, how you know. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Dog walks. Vegito.
領域展開無料空所